What's up, guys? So in this series, we're going to be putting Openclaw to the test and seeing if it can automate my trading tasks by the end of it, or if it's too big of a pain in the ass and I go back to just manually doing things myself. So yesterday, we used Openclaw to generate its own wallet, and then also had it pull some Poly market data. And then today's episode, we're going to try, emphasis on try, to see if it can make its own server that the Poly market scripts are going to run on. So if you don't know what a server is, it's just a place where you can put your code. Say, like, for example, you're running your own trading bots locally, but your power runs out or your Wi-Fi runs out or something like that. It does happen. And then your trading bots stop working. You don't get an entry into something. Super annoying. And so I always have my scripts on remote servers, and that way I don't have to worry about any of that. And normally I would just do it myself. Like, if we go over here, you can see the UI. I'm not logged in on this computer, but you can see the UI of how you can actually make your own server. You have to click a bunch of things and you set it up, and then they're pretty cheap, like $10, $20 a month is enough to run basic scripts on. But I want to see if this thing actually can just do it itself. And so I'm using this concept called personal access tokens, which are tokens that you get and you can use, and then you can provision your own infrastructure. So you can set up your own servers, droplets, whatever. And so DigitalOcean is the company I use, but you could use any company, but this is the one I use. They're pretty good, pretty cheap, and pretty reliable. So today we're going to see if this thing can actually create servers for us on demand. Because, like I said, it's very annoying. Like, doing this is a one-off task. You have to click a couple things. Maybe it takes like 5-10 minutes max. But like, if you do this a bunch of times, you're trying to scale things. Normally, it's way faster if you just do it through code. And so I want to see if this thing can do it. So on the left-hand side, we have my Openclaw, and we're going to tell it. I actually gave it a token. So I followed this tutorial, and I created a personal access token within the UI, and then I had it store it locally in a file. So hopefully it actually remembers it. But this gives it the ability to then hit my DigitalOcean account and create the server. So let's just see. I'm curious. I don't think this is going to work very well, but let's give it a try. So remember the PAT I gave you before for DigitalOcean? Take that and create a $10 to $20 a month server that will host our Poly market scripts. It has to be in a place that Poly market doesn't restrict, and make sure you have SSH ability into the server. Come back to me when this is done. Okay, so I'm very curious. I'm also going to check on my side after this to make sure it didn't spin up like 50 servers or something, because that would be bad, because I did give it full access to my account. Now I plan on deleting the token after it creates this one server, so then we don't have issues in the future with it doing things it's not supposed to be doing. But for now, at least, it does have full access to the account, so I'm very curious to see how bad this does. I think this is important, though, because a lot of people are talking about you're supposed to be giving authority to these agents and having it do things on demand for you, just like you'd have an employee, like actually trusting it to do stuff. So I think this is a pretty good task. Again, like, normally you would not be doing this because this is very risky. Like, it could create a bunch of stuff for you, it charge your account a bunch, definitely get ugly, or just like, take your credentials and throw them somewhere. But we do want to have its own server for this, because once we start running these scripts, like the one I have on the right is the one I use for markets to do volatility trading. And once we start doing that, we do not want to have this thing having access to our real accounts, because it can mess them up, obviously. So we're going to see what it does. It might take a while. It might take 5-10 minutes. I will come back when this thing actually responds with something. Cool. So actually, it happened way faster than I expected. So it's pretty wild. I mean, this is using Opus. So I'm using Opus 4.6, but I'm still surprised at how fast it did this. So you can see here I sent it at 28th minute, and then it came back at 15:30. So I actually gave it 2 because I had to delete one beforehand. So that's why I said it found 2 in file. Then it must have checked to make sure it was using the right one. It's pretty cool. And then it was smart enough. This is very important. If you bought Poly market, you know this, that if you do it from IPs that they reject, you're not going to be able to do any buys or sells with your scripts. So Amsterdam is one of the only ones that actually works. So pretty cool that I actually knew that and started the server. Did a $12 one, like I said, told it to do, because I said $10 to $20 one. Pretty awesome. Droplet is live. Let me verify SSH access. If you don't know what SSH is, it's a protocol that allows you to get into the server. It's an authentication protocol. And then they even save the details. Pretty cool. And then it said the new outpost, Polymarket Ops IP, which I'm going to blur out, region, Amsterdam, EU jurisdiction, specs. It even gave me the specs, pretty cool. So this should be enough to run Polymarket scripts. Polymarket scripts, at least the ones I do, are not very intensive. It's not like I'm querying every 500 milliseconds or something like that and doing tons of compute intensive things. But awesome. So it claims it's on there. So let's do this. Let's have it. So let's try this instead. Let's have it do a quick test to make sure it actually is on the server. So on the server, try hitting Polymarket's API and tell me if you are able to. Let's just see what it says. Curious. And this is pretty cool because like normally you'd have to go and SSH onto the server and move your files on, etc. But it's like having an employee that you just ping the stuff and say, hey, go do this, and it just does it. How well it works, we're going to see. Clean hit. Oh, looks like it already did it. Awesome. Cool. Okay. So this is actually the whole video. I was going to have this thing actually set up a server. But since this did it in like 2 minutes, we're going to need to do something else for the video. So let's do this. Let's try running. I have a couple ideas here. So if you guys haven't seen this market yet, it's this Strait of Hormuz market that people are trading a ton on. It's already got $13 million. And I like trading these kind of ones. It's a shame because it went up and then came back down. But I like trading these because the no price, like from what I'm seeing, it's seems unrealistic that, not unrealistic, but the odds are that this thing stays open. And so I would like to at least, even though I don't know the answer and it might go to 100% and I might lose, I do have an idea of botting, because I've done this in the past with similar events. I like botting the volatility, so as it goes up here, the no becomes cheap, and then you can bot the volatility, and then you get out before the actual event actually happens, whether it goes up or down. And so I want to have, if this thing, my original plan with this was to have it do a crypto, 2 crypto ones that I have, and I will have them do those as well. But I do want to try this first because this is time sensitive, because all this stuff with Iran is going on right now, and there's tons of volatility. There's this market, and then there's another market that I like that I've been wanting to do today, which was the oil market. So if we go over to this one, is when will crude oil hit different prices, and there's some of these are very close to hitting, but they just might not hit. But then again, there's like the volatility is amazing. So we're gonna have it to this. First thing I have to do is I actually have to my script relies on a specific type of like there's something to do with the Polymarket authentication where you have to like authenticate it through the UI, or you could do it through the Claude, but then I have to give it gas token Polygon and have it do that. And because I'm just going to give it my script, I decided and trust that it works and just manage it. I have to do this through the UI, so I'll be right back. I have to authenticate the wallet, and then I'm going to give it this script. Okay, so I did that, and now we're ready to actually have it try running the script. So the next thing I want to do is I want to just send it the file, which is the script that I already run on Polymarket. And I want to say, and again, we'll look at it real quickly here. On the right-hand side is just comments that the AI added. Again, I didn't write this, the Claude Code wrote this. But it's basically setting brackets and levels, and then as the volatility goes up and down, you're trading the volatility. You're buying either side you want, but for this side, we'll be buying no, cheap, selling up at certain take-profit targets. And then also sends me messages during Telegram or through Telegram so that I know the event's going on. And so I just uploaded the Telegram, and I'm going to say, take this file and put it on the remote server. I'm going to say try running it in paper mode, and we're going to give it the Hormuz one. Try running on paper mode with this. I actually don't know if it'll work because I don't know if it works with multi-events. I don't think I've done one of these before. So we're going to see. And if it doesn't work, we're going to ask it to update it. And paper mode is just not trading yet because I just want to see if it can even run it. So specifically on the no side with March 31st. And we're going to see if this can actually run the script. And this is kind of what I want these things to do, and why I think these are especially useful for traders, is because if you're trading by hand and you want to trade through script or you're trading through a script right now, it's really nice to be able to have something that can just deploy the scripts for you, update things, say, hey, here's a new market I want to run on. And then you just go to Polymarket and click the training ones. You're like, okay, this seems useful to me. I'm going to do this, the other side of this or something. And then just have it kick it off for you. I think that's wildly useful. And I want to see if this Openclaw thing, up until this point, like Claude Code can do it, of course, but something that is more, has more memory and more context around you, I think is the big differentiator of Openclaw versus Claude Code or other systems like that. And I'm very curious to see if this works like this. I would love to not even touch code anymore. And I would just have this stuff either make the code and I look at the code briefly. And then I provide like different ideas for the stuff to do, which would I already technically do. But this thing could set it up for me. And I think that as a trader, that's hugely important and would save you a ton of time. Cool. So it came back perfect. It actually did a couple things I was really hoping it would do. One of the things with the script is that when I was going through it again, this is the one that I have that trades across all brackets. That's what it does. And so the problem is that if I want to only give it one event, because technically for this one, it doesn't really make too much sense to do this because the Strait one, it's, if we take a look at it, it's, if it works for one of them, we only want to really take risk on for one of them because we're all going to be doing the same thing. Or maybe I do want to do all of them. I'm not sure yet. But basically, there's three options there. You could either do the March 31st date, June 30th, or December 31st. And right now, the script itself will do across all of them. So it'll do all three events. And I was considering having it just do the March 31st one. So let's see what it actually did, because it actually did a lot of good things and more than I was actually expecting it. So first off, it put it on the server. Then it like did a basic check for it. Then it realized it broke because it didn't have the right slug, so it fixed that. Now it says running, and then it said that it needs to be put in a persistent thing, which basically means that if the connection dies or whatever, the script will die. And so it's fixing that by making it so it always will run, which is exactly what it did here using screen. And then finally, it gave me all of the parameters back. Now I'm going to modify these because some of these don't make sense. Like I don't want it to start at 90 cents. I want to start at 20 cents, but that's fine. And then, but this is paper mode anyway. So then it said something really smart, which was it realized it's doing all the brackets. And if I want to do just March 31st, it needs to modify it. So let's just tell it. Let's see if I can actually do it on the fly. So yes, modify it to allow me to do all brackets or to do just one. So now it's going to have to do what a developer would do, which is modify the code and then deploy the code back up. And I'm curious to see if it actually does this or how it approaches it. Okay, so very cool. In just 5 minutes, 44th minute, 49th minute, it actually went through, made all the changes, redeployed it, and then realized it's now working. So awesome. So now, and it even told me how to run it. Super cool. But again, my goal with this is not to get on the server myself. My goal with this is just to let the thing figure it out and then treat it almost as a experiment, where it's the one who's doing all this stuff. I just give it some money and then it does it what I want it to do. Cool. Okay. So then I'm going to say, yes, I want March 31st run in persistent mode on that remote server. And then I'm going to say after 2 minutes, send me the latest logs output from it. Because I want to see what I know what the script should be saying. And so I want to see if this thing is actually running it or if it's just confused and it's like running, just like tried running it and it's actually not running. So we'll know from the logs if it's actually running or not. So let's let this run for a couple minutes and I'll come back. Okay, so it looks like it's running now. It came back and said that it's got these statuses, but I actually want to see the log lines themselves. So give me the latest 20 lines of log output from whatever it generates and give me that here. Because I want to see like, okay, yeah, it's telling me what's going on, which is amazing, right? Like it's reading through the state of the local state, so it knows how many buys. It's paper mode, so it's not actual buys, but it knows all that. Great. But I actually want to see, oh, so it already got fill. Pretty awesome. And it actually sent me that too. So one fill on it bought it at no. Let's see. I bet it actually changed on Polymarket. Yep. Yeah. So the spread actually went 2 cents. Now it just changed back to 1 cent, but it was 19 was the highest bid, which is correct. So it would have actually filled there. Pretty awesome. But I do want it to give me the lines. So and it's not listening to me, which is interesting. So I want the log output. I don't want what you're telling me. I want the log output. Let's see if it actually gives it to me. And this is one of the things that, like, if you use AI tools, you know, sometimes they just do not listen and give you what you want. So let's see if it does it a second time. It's still not doing it. Okay, I'm just gonna paste it twice. I read on the line that there was a hack where if you say the same thing twice, I specifically want the output of the log, not condensed, the literal text back. So this thing does produce a log file, and in the log file has very verbose output. And so that's what I'm trying to get back from it. And I don't understand why it's getting confused. Okay, there we go. There's the output. So let's take a look here. That's exactly what I wanted. Perfect. So this actually worked. So I literally just took the thing I said before and just duplicated it. And then I guess it listened to me. So perfect. This is actually what we want. And the paper trading is working. So the next step is to actually have it use the wallet. So I got to work on that, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I just did one more thing before it actually starts doing the live transactions. I told it, I actually used DigitalOcean Web Console to drop the keys in. The reason why is because I was watching this interview from the Near founder, I think, and he was saying it's a massive security exploit, which makes sense, to give these things your credentials. Like I could just done this myself, but the problem is like when you actually type it into, let's say, Telegram. First off, Telegram has it, not good. Second off, because the messages go through Telegram. Second off, more importantly, the LLM company has it as well because it read the message and it stores it, of course, in training data. So hypothetically, in the future, if the training data gets accessed by someone else, they could just find everyone's private key. And I'm sure a lot of these things have it in their memory, which is terrible. So just to be safe, we are going to use the way I just did it, which is I told it, hey, I gave you these two things, and you go do this. And I was thinking about that yesterday when I created the wallet. I'm like, wait a minute, that's going to be a problem because then the AI has the information. Okay, so in theory, it should be able to do this now. So let's do this. Let's tell it, make a small transaction for that Strait. I want to see if it could buy, essentially. So let's see, like, it has money in it. I loaded up with about $1,000. I want to see if this thing can actually do a buy or not on this. So I'm going to say make a small transaction for that Strait of Hormuz market. I want you to buy and sell less than let's say $7. Tell me when you've done this and I'll go check myself. Okay, so what I want to do is I just want to see, because there's two things. If you've bought a Poly market before, you know this. Sometimes, like, if you're in the wrong, like I said before, Amsterdam should work. That's where my other servers are. But let's just be thorough. And also, let's see if this thing actually knows how to, like, use the credentials directly. Because there's nothing worse than running a script and then having it run for a while and you're like, okay, everything's fine. Then, like, a day later or 2 days later, you realize you couldn't even buy it because of some random credential issue. And you're like, oh, man, I just lost 2 days of time. Okay, so it actually did it, but unfortunately it did more than I expected to do. So it did one buy, but then it put limit orders, which is not something I wanted to do. But again, that's why we double check these things. So first off, it's pretty good that it actually did the buy. So we're going to tell it market sell your position plus cancel those. Also, kill the paper trading running script. Okay, so now that we actually know it can execute this using the credentials, do real buys, now we have to make it rerun the script over here. Okay, so it did do the buy, which is pretty awesome. So it got through the credential issues, but unfortunately it did too many buys. So it did one buy and then it set up limit orders. I don't know why. I just said to do one buy, I think. But that's why we're double checking the AI. So I just asked it to cancel the limit orders and market sell, because I want to, like, if it could buy it, obviously it should be able to sell, but I want to get rid of the position anyway. Paper session was already dead, perfect. All 3 resting orders canceled, great. Okay, so now we have a clean slate, and so now what I want to do is I want to run on this Strait or Hormuz one again, except this time I want to have the real thing. And so we're going to tell it, do this one, set max buy of, let's say 30 cents, and step size of 20. So I'm giving it the parameters I want it to actually use for the script. So max buy of 30 cents. So I don't want to buy above no of 30 cents. Step size of 2 cents and TP of 20%. And I want to do, let's say I got like $1,000 in there because this is just a test anyway. Let's do, okay, let's say we have 15 levels, and then we're doing, 1,000 divided by 15. Let's do like $50 a level, right? I want to do, I don't think they'll hit all the levels anyway. Let's just do $75 a level. Yeah, let's do $70 a level. Dollars. This is just a test anyway, to see if we can actually let this thing run our script. I want to do $75 a level, period. That's all. Okay, let's see if it sets this off. So in theory, what will happen is that it will set limit orders here every 2 cents, and then sell when it goes up. And this Iran stuff is still getting this across all brackets. You want all brackets or just, I think all brackets will mirror. So let's just take a look here real fast. You know what? They're all volatile. Let's just do all of them. Do all brackets, but do, let's just divide by 3. So let's say $30, $35 a bracket, or a level. Yes, I want it live, persistent on the server. Okay, so let's see if it does it. And then I want the logs back because I want to confirm it. And this is really cool. Like if this actually works like this for trading, then you don't even have to code your own stuff in, like, you could have it like back test random things on the fly. You can have it checking the logs for you. Pretty amazing. Like literally like having a developer, except instead of a developer, it's a 24/7 employee who you can just manage. Now, the one thing that might bite us with this is if you look at the rules, it's actually a weighted average. I forgot where the rules are here. I don't know. There's some there's rules for this market. I think we might have to expand this. Per the rules, yeah, it's a weighted average. So even if it doesn't officially close, it could technically be closed. This is exactly why it spiked this morning. But again, like, I think this stuff's gonna go on all week at least. And so I think people will be speculating up and down, and it'll be funny. Okay, live 25 resting brackets. Is that correct? Let's think. So March 31st, 20 to 2 cents, 10 orders. Yep, all that's correct. Awesome. Okay, so that's the video for today. Let's check back tomorrow. Again, if this thing goes, it's not like the thing messed up because I told it what to do, but if the Strait does get shut down or if the odds just spike to 100, then we're going to lose money. But this is just for experiment anyway, just to see if Openclaw can manage a script. So in this video, we have had it set up its own server without us even clicking anything, which is great. We had it also take my existing script and run a new wallet with it on Polymarket for this specific market. And then tomorrow there should be some action on this, and we're going to check back the logs and see, did it just hallucinate everything? Was this even running? I already checked the market sells, so technically, and buys, technically it should be running, but we'll see. Maybe the script will die overnight, who knows? So again, if you use Openclaw for trading, let me know in the comments. Let me know if you have any tips, and I will see you guys in the next episode.